Okay, hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today we will solve the problem B of the 1988 contest. So let's dig in. Okay, so we are given a string or a sequence from A1 to AN, and our mission is to operate a certain type of operation in order to convert this whole string into only a single character string consists of 1 or 0, and if it is 1 we print yes, and if it is 0 we print no. Okay, so let's read the problem more carefully. uh, let's see. Okay, so as you can see, we can apply several or many operations into the sequence. Like for example, we can choose two integers from L to R, and we can convert this whole sequence into a single character consists of 1 or 0. And oh, my bad, we must convert this whole sequence into the majority of this sequence. So let's understand more carefully what a majority is. For example, the in this test case, we have a sequence 10011. So for example, we apply operations with L is 1 and R is 2. So it 3 3. So it means that we must apply these operations in the first three characters of the string. So as you can see, there are 1 and there are two zeros, right? So that means that the number of zeros are more than ones. So we must convert this whole sequence of the three characters into 0. So this string will be 0011. Okay, so maybe another example of a majority. For example, I will pick the number L is 3 and R is 6. So we must make an operations in in this sequence. So as you can see, there are two zeros and there are two ones, right? So the number of ones and zeros are equal, but the problem indicates that if the number of zeros and ones is equal, then the majority is 0. So that means this whole sequence will be converted into 0, which means that it will be 1 0 0. So I believe that in this step we all understand what a majority is, and we all understand what the problem indicates. So let's return back to the problem and into the solution. So we can understand that in order to make a sequence 1, we must to erase as much 0 as possible in order to make it 1. So what can we do? For example, in this test case, as you can see, how can we erase as much zeros as possible? So we will pick L as 2 and R as 8. So L from 2 to 8 is this one, this sequence. And as you can see, there are 7 zeros and 0 ones. So this sequence, the majority of it is 0. So we can convert this string into 1 0 1, and overall we can make another operations in the full sequence. And as you can see, there are two ones and 1 0, and it can be converted into 1, and so we print yes. But in another test case, this one, the fifth test case, let me copy it into my board. Okay, in this test case, as you can see, if we remove 0 as the aforementioned test case, here we will get 0 1 1 0, right? Because the first four zeros will be converted into 1, and the third three last zeros will be converted into 0. And in this sequence, as you can see, there are two zeros and two ones, so the number of zeros and ones are equal, and by that we can see that this whole string will only be 0 because the number of ones are not more than zeros, right? So let's go back to the code that I have written for this problem. Okay, this one. Let me copy it for you in the blackboard so that we can understand it more carefully. Oh, actually, I can teach it right in this one compiler tab. Okay, as we can see, we first we will create two integers, ones and zeros, in order to count the number of zeros and ones in this string, and we will count the first character in this string firstly, so we can count it later. Like if the first character is 1, we will add 1 to the integer ones, and if it's 0, we will add two zeros. So next we will run a for loop from 0 to n plus 1 up n minus 1. So if SE is different from SE plus 1, it means that there are two different characters standing next each other. That means that we cannot make a sequence in these two characters. So we will check if SE plus 1 is 1, we will add 1 to ones, and in contrast we will add zeros to 0. We will add 1 to zeros, and moreover, if there are many ones standing next each other, we don't want to reduce the number of ones, right? Our sole mission is to remove zeros as many as possible. So if SE is equal to SE plus 1, we will still add 1 to the ones, and if it is 0, we will erase that 0, so that we can and we shouldn't add 1 to the zeros, right? So in the last string, we'll see that if the ones are more than zeros, we will count yes, and if zeros are equal or more than ones, we will count no. So I believe that this problem is pretty straightforward, and if you don't really understand my code, you can ask me in the comments, and I will teach you more about it. Okay, so goodbye guys.